hello to all my friends in Minnesota. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words to you as you celebrate your 25th anniversary and as we celebrate our 25th anniversary in the Baldrige program.
In 1980, 1982, I remember, we were just, it wasn't just the auto industry, but there was a lot of American jobs that were going away. So I think the conditions were right for somebody to like my father, to start talking about quality. The Japanese came over here, they started building plants here, and they started building quality vehicles. And American car manufacturers started losing their jobs. My dad had the foresight, along with some other people at Ford on the company side, to recognize that quality had to be stepped up and beefed up. So I think when that landscape started to take shape, he was one of the first people in labor to kind of recognize that. And I think Rudy Perpich at the time was governor, and he wanted to develop a task force, a committee to just study economic development in Minnesota.
And this report came out about how we needed to enhance Minnesota's natural advantages in its workforce by accelerating quality improvement, which had already been done at places like Ford and Corning and some other places, some other early leaders. So I thought this was a great idea right from the get-go, but Roger Hale thought, this is just going to be another state boondoggle, it'll be a waste of my time. Then he gets another phone call from Roger Moe, who was the chairman, or was either chairing the House or Senate Finance Committee or was the Senate Majority Leader by then, I don't remember which. So as Roger was telling the story, he got a call from Roger Moe. He said, no, and they've known each other, they were friends. No, Roger, I don't think I can do this. He said, and then I finally got a call from Rudy Perpich, and I bent under the weight.
About 1985, maybe 1987. And then shortly thereafter, they developed another committee, and then stemmed out of that came the Minnesota Quality Committee.
The three of them, Walter and Bob and Roger Hale, said, we want you to apply for the job. I was thrilled. I mean, I owe everything that I've done in the 25 years since then to Bob Killeen.
And then, he would come home, he would talk about the different things that he was doing with, with various companies that were getting on board. Some of the early ones were like Tennant Company. He had a very good relationship with the CEO of Tennant, and Hutchinson Technologies got on board real early. And a lot of companies started to see the benefits of working within the framework of quality. Without quality, if the American manufacturers didn't build a quality product, there was going to be no jobs for the workers, which were so near and dear to him.
We were really starting to recognize that the identity of the Minnesota Council is when we're really working with organizations wherever they are in their journey and bringing them forward. We're not there just to recognize the best of the best. We're in the throes of Jesse Ventura as a governor who did not believe in pass-through grants, and that was a considerable amount of the funding for the council at that point in time. There were always grand schemes for we're going to get some grants, but we never seemed to get the right ones written at the right time.
We've changed in many, many ways, and the loss of funding has forced us to behave like a business, somewhat ironically enough, and pay attention to our customers. I've seen a drastic change in the expansion of our mission. We've always been about helping organizations reach higher levels of excellence, primarily through the use of Baldrige, but we now are helping all types of organizations improve their performance regardless of where they are. And, so we help the good go to great, and we help the not so good go to good. And I think that's a fundamental change in how our mission has evolved over the years.
I had heard about Baldrige evaluation for quite a number of years, actually. My wife, Carol, was on the school board in Rochester, and she and her superintendent had become very interested in Baldrige and had taken a number of teachers and other professionals off campus to become trained in Baldrige. And so I heard many dinner table conversations about the value of Baldrige.
So we at Winona Health have worked with the council and used the Baldrige framework since 2004. We decided to go with that because we were looking for a management system that would improve our organization and help us become a better organization. Since that time, we have gone through a number of assessments with the council, and we use those feedback reports, which have been highly valuable for our.
When we were looking for ways to bring together as a single system 12 organizations and many hospitals and many hundred physicians, we thought Baldrige would be a good way, a good framework that we could use to get better faster. In our first report, we were hoping that we would get top marks in everything, and so it was a little sobering to hear that we had challenges in many parts of our organization and leadership. But those were things we needed to hear. Those were opportunities for improvement, or OFIs, that we knew that if we worked on those, we would become a much better organization. But I am committed to Baldrige because, I mean, it's a gift to a leader. I mean, you say, how am I supposed to do this? Well, I mean, it comes with a whole cookbook of how you go about doing it.
At Vera Sacred Heart, we've always been focused on quality. We want to achieve organizational excellence. In fact, we have a mantra. We say we're on a quest to be the best. And certainly we knew that the Baldrige process was the gold standard of organizational excellence. Just this last year, we were recognized nationally for our clinical performance. We were categorized as a top performer in the nation in clinical areas for 3 years in a row. And we do attribute some of our journey of the Baldrige process for accomplishing that.
But there's other areas, whether it's education, business, not-for-profits, government, and so forth. Participating with the council and being a part of that network of organizations that are really aspiring to be excellent in their respective areas.
We've expanded way beyond business. We were created in the late 80s to serve manufacturing primarily, and businesses still represent about 70% of our membership base. But the other third, and it's certainly the faster growing third, are all types of nonprofits, from schools, hospitals, nonprofit organizations, public sector agencies. Now serve both North and South Dakota, and we're pleased to do that, but having a brand of Minnesota only no longer worked. And really the concept of quality has changed drastically over the last 25 years. Quality back then was product and service and maybe process quality. And while those are still very important concepts, it's now all about enterprise performance. It's about how the whole system operates, its leaders, its people, its focus on customer, its use of data. And really the term performance excellence, I think, is much more meaningful, much more accurate to what we're trying to advance. We're really lucky in this state to have, I think, some of the best thinkers in terms of quality and performance excellence in the country. Many of the names that come before me, some in this role and many in other roles, on our board, as judges, as evaluators, as staff, really are sharp thinkers. And I think all the thinking that comes before me has helped shape how that looks. And I think our appetite for improvement, just like we espouse for our members, is very, very high. We continue to adapt and learn and change in response to marketplace needs all the time. And I think that has kept us viable, and I think it'll make us useful in the future.
And indeed, Minnesota has a proud tradition of contributing state award winners who went on to become Baldrige Award winners. Minnesota is also one of the largest contributors of examiners to the national Baldrige effort, and therefore the ties are that much closer and that much richer between our two quarter-of-a-century-old programs. So I thank you for your wonderful contributions over the last 25 years and look forward to the next 25 years for our enhanced Baldrige enterprise.
The opportunity is that I believe we've just gotten started, to be honest. We serve about 300 organizations in this state, and a few in the Dakotas and a few in other states. But there's 115,000 businesses in Minnesota alone. So our market share is pretty small, and the room for us to grow and have further impact is pretty large. And so, you know, I feel blessed and honored to be the one that's currently carrying the torch, but I'm carrying it for an awful lot of folks. Dedicated staff, dedicated volunteers, and a whole history of folks that have been involved with this mission for a very long time. I look forward to the next 25 years.